first time to Dubai, and still more importantly, what a place it would be for you to get your first winner as a trainer.
Yeah.
How excited are you about not only being here, but having a chance to win a race as good as this as your first?
To me, having worked in the media for years like I did, being at a loss of words is not something that's normally something for me. To come to Dubai at all, to be invited here, and then to parlay that on top of possibly winning a race like the Golden Shaheen and what the Golden Shaheen means, not only here but worldwide, it would be almost not able to come up with words.
Because obviously there's a great deal of excitement, are you trying to sort of rein it in? Has your preparation been? Are you doing anything different, or you're trying to just say, got to keep it in the normal routine?
Yeah, we keep it in as much of the normal routine as we can. We try and spy on like what George Navarro is doing, having the success that he had here last year. Talking to some of the other Americans that have been here in the past, people from California Chrome, Doug O'Neill's people that have had success here in the past. Even I spoke to Carl Callahan's old exercise rider. He won here the sprint with Kinsale King. Secret Circle won the sprint a few years ago. So obviously, especially in that sprint realm, talking to people that have come over here and done well, and those that haven't as well.
What's the best bit of advice, or is there any one that you think, oh, that really is something I hadn't thought about? Is there anything?
I think two things. One, hydration. Coming to the desert, you want to make sure that your horse is hydrated. And we've been preparing to come here since December. So everything's kind of gone according to our plan, and making sure that he stays well hydrated, was well hydrated to ship over, and has remained well hydrated since coming here. So that was one. The second thing, Christophe Clement actually told me, don't overdo it. Don't overthink it. When you're here, enjoy it. Let the horse get a hold of the track. But that's it. Don't act like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. And yeah, we blew him out down the lane today, and he got his last little piece of work, and he'll school tonight in the night school session, and he'll go to the gate, and we'll do kind of the walkthrough stuff. But the main training is done. He'll jog from here until the race now.
And for you to have a horse like this when you're in your first year, I mean, as a shop window for you, this is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Phil Jackson getting Kobe Bryant or something like that. This is a horse that I picked out myself as a yearling. I've worked with him every day for the last 3 years. So it is my name on paper now, but nobody knows the horse better than I do. I've slept outside his stall for years, and before the Breeders' Cup and things like that. So, this is home for us. He knows me, I know him. Fittingly, I guess, my first win be with him, hopefully. I mean, obviously, the other horses I ran in the States so far, they've come close, got a couple of seconds, but I think it would be a picture, telling a story for this horse to win this race with me and my team behind me.
And you call them closers.
Yeah.
He does close. Is he the kind of horse that you sometimes have to crank out, or how do you?
Not really. He's quite tactical. If you watch the Malibu, knowing the speed that Sharp Azteca had, knowing where we had to be, we had him close enough to where he was able to grind it out. He doesn't make that catch your breath like he did in the Breeders' Cup when he's a little bit closer. It's more of a grind than it is an all-out freight train coming to get you. But he can do either one, and Joel Rosario knows that, and we'll have him where he needs to be to win the race on Saturday.
What first, when you saw the horse as a young horse, what attracted to you? Why did you think, oh, I like this one?
He was an athlete. We don't have, George Navarro was up here before talking about not having that kind of budget. I mean, we really don't have that kind of budget. He was a $30,000 yearling purchase, so. I mean, and that's kind of the norm for us and my clients. I mean, we've been able to kind of find the diamonds in the rough, and you got to do a lot of polishing, and it takes a while. What he is now is not what he was then, and we take a lot of pride in what he's become, and also the consistency that he's shown. I mean, he's run 14 times, 12 finishes, first, second, or third, 4 straight 100 buyers. Time form numbers are good, regs and figures are good. All the figures show that he's a really, really consistent horse.
And the name? It's not one that we mind your biscuits. So have you got a problem with biscuits or what?
No, I like biscuits, tea, crumpets, the whole nine, right? Bangers and mash. I think it came from a song. It's a Casey Musgrave song. She's a country music singer in America. And the song is called Mind Your Own Biscuits and Life Will Be Gravy. And when he didn't sell at the 2-year-old sale, we were thinking about pinhooking him and selling him as a 2-year-old. And when he didn't sell, I was on the phone with my brother. And the song came on. I said, "Man, this song is hilarious. It's really funny." I said, "We got to name a horse Mind Your Biscuits." And he's laughing. He goes, "Yeah, that's great." I said, "Wait a second. We can't name a horse Mind Your Biscuits. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous." And so we talked about it for about 2 months, and then we're like, "You got to do it." I'm like, all right, fine." So we named them Mind Your Biscuits, and now every time the horse runs, my brother will send a tweet on social media, "Hey, Casey, your horse is running." She hasn't gotten back to us yet, but now we're on the world stage. Maybe we can get a follow.
Can you sing the song?
I can sing the song, but that'll be Saturday night after we win. I won't sing it right.
Okay. Right. Well, looking forward to hearing the song then, because
Yes.
that will be a very special
You
night.
too, because that means that we won.
Yeah,
So
it
then
means
I'll
you-
definitely, yes.
Then we'll definitely be in the press conference. We'll be regaling it. In fact, we'll probably try and get it played around the race
On a
course
loop,
as well.
absolutely.
We're all now googling Casey. What's he called again?
Casey Musgraves.
Right. Okay.
Musgraves.
Right.
Hi,
Okay.
Casey.
Hi, Casey. Right. Any questions?
It seemed in the middle of the summer, around the Amsterdam, is when he started to really turn the corner, leading forward. How has he changed and developed since then, whether physically or mentally?
It probably goes back to the start before the allowance race, the New York bred allowance race, actually the other then on July 4th. We had been thinking about putting blinkers on him for a while. He trained on blinkers on the farm. He breathes in blinkers at the 2-year-old sale, as most 2-year-olds do at those sales. We don't really like starting our horses in blinkers if they don't have to, like letting them learn, letting them see, getting experience and all that kind of stuff. When he ran on Derby Day in New York with Jose Ortiz, he had kind of hesitated a little bit going for a hole in an opening that was there, and he was good enough to win the race, and he just kind of hesitated a little bit. He had done it once before when he ran against Governor Malibu as a 2-year-old. Governor Malibu came back and ran third in the Belmont, and Jose Lascano said, maybe put a pair of blinkers on him. So we always kind of toyed with the idea. Joel Rosario breezed them for me probably about 2 weeks before that allowance race. I didn't tell him who the horse was or that he had rode him twice as a 2-year-old. And he gets off the horse and he tells Ron Anderson, his agent, who's this horse? I have to ride this horse. So this is Mind Your Biscuits. You're on second with him twice his first 2 starts. And he goes, oh, okay, I got to ride this horse. And so we ran him with the blinkers and very confident that they ran against a nice stake horse in Bustin' Out. And he won by 9.5 lengths. And from then it's kind of been gravy ever since. We went to the Amsterdam, encountered trouble that day. There was a Tom Amos horse that had a little bit of a mishap. I was able to come up the rail, which he hadn't done in the past before. He kind of wanted to be in the clear, do his own thing. The Amsterdam came up the rail and went on. And then he ran well after that. The King's Bishop was a sneaky good race. Dreyfond got along to a loose lead. We got beat 3.5, 4 lengths that day and done nothing wrong since. I mean, we came here expecting Dreyfond to be here. We know he's the champion in New York, in America. And we expected to see him here, and he's not, and we'll deal with that. But, I mean, we're ready, and we're ready for all horses.
Any more?
How many horses have you raced?
I've had 4 starts so far. Or as George Navarro calls that, a Saturday.
And for some, on that note, for some people who aren't as familiar, can you take us a little bit through your background?
Oh, I've done a little bit of everything, a jack of all trades, a master of none, perhaps. Hopefully I'll be a master trainer, but we'll find out. So I started when I was in college. I was playing football for the University of Kentucky, and I had to be there for the summer, so you had to get a summer job. So I got a summer job as an intern for the Thoroughbred Times, writing about the horses and being in the media and things like that. I wrote for a place called thegreatestgame.com, interviewing owners, how they got started. And then I read a book when I was a kid. I thought I wanted to be a jockey. When I was a freshman in high school, I was 4'10", I weighed 90 pounds. I'm like, I'm going to be a jockey. And then when I was tall enough to ride the roller coaster, I cried because I couldn't be a jockey anymore. But I do always want to do something in the industry. And working for the Thoroughbred Times, I said, you know what? I've worked on horses. I've done like horseback riding lessons and stuff like that, but never worked on the track. And I got a chance. Paranex Stable gave me an opportunity to work for them for a summer. And so I left Kentucky and went to Saratoga for the summer. And working hands-on, again with the idea that I'm going to come back and work for the media, but I'm going to know what a hock is. I'm going to know what a suspensory is, how to fix this, or the day-to-day stuff that a lot of times people in the media that don't have that horse background aren't as familiar with. And I said, man, I'm gonna have a big leg up on everybody else that's covering this great industry. And I had a filly when I was there at Paraneck named Say Hey Willie that had EPM. They said she was never gonna make it to the races, and Ernie just kind of let me mess around with her, and we took her to Saratoga, and she won first time out. And I'm crying in the winner's circle, and I was hooked at that point. I did some more stuff in the media. I worked for a radio show, the Horse Racing Radio Network, that we did the Triple Crown, the Breeders' Cup. Did a lot of stuff for Associated Press and WHAS in Louisville, doing some TV for the Breeders' Cup. But the horses and working hands-on with the horses was always kind of what I wanted to do. When I got married, it became something where you can't get married and raise a family making $200 a week. It's just not possible. So I left for a little while, did some racing, managing, buying and selling horses. But the hands-on and working with the horses was really something that I always wanted to do. And, you know, thankfully to some of these owners, been afforded the opportunity to do so now.
You've been an assistant trainer.
I've worked for a lot of, for Georgia Navarro. No, I've worked for Chuck Simon in the States, Jennifer Peterson, Mike Tenozzo, Bernie Flint, Billy Gowan. Those are some of the people that I worked with, doing all different capacities, to hot walking, grooming, entering horses, assistant, every kind of different role. You bought night watchman. I foaled horses in Kentucky, just everything you can possibly think of.
Why do you change so much? Why do you keep changing jobs so much?
I think it was trying to figure out what you want to do to make you happy. You know, here you have the opportunity. You know you want to work with horses, or you love this industry, but what can you do not only that you want to do, but that will help support your family? You know, like Georgie mentioned, you know, having kids and stuff like that. It really makes you look long term at what you want, and you need to be able to provide and support that family, and that's important. You know, as a trainer, a struggling trainer with 5 horses, you can't do it. If you're training for the right owners, like I'm blessed to have that opportunity right out of the box, we think we can do it. But you have to prove it on the track every day. It's not, oh yeah, well, you know, once you had a horse, Mind Your Biscuits, that ran in the Golden Shaheen. This is a non-forgiving thing. You know, it's nice to remember XY Jet last year being so close, but if Georgie's not here with Sharp Azteca, nobody's asking any questions about XY Jet. So you have to keep going and every day go to work and look at every single horse and treat every horse as an individual, and hope to get the best out of that horse. The best out of each horse might not bring you to Dubai. I mean, it's only the very best that are going to bring you to Dubai or Hong Kong or Ascot or anything like that. But if the very best out of that horse is getting him to break his maiden for $25,000 at Gulfstream Park in the summertime, that's okay if you feel like you and your team have done the best job you can with that horse to maximize his ability.
How many have you got? How many horses have you got?
I have 12 right now. When I get back from Dubai, we're kind of holding off. I didn't think it was fair to the owners getting new horses not coming in. So when we get back, we'll have about 35 or 40.
Any more questions? Well, look forward to hearing the song then on...
You and me both.
How does it go? Anyone find out who she is? Thank you very much.
Absolutely,
And
it's
best
been a
of luck.
pleasure.
Great fun. Thank you, and thank you, Jorge, for coming along as well. Thank you very much. Thank